These things just do happen, man. We're not gonna let outside stuff, hold us back. But you know what? In order for us to just continue with the vein, I want to play this song because I feel that this is truly what's been happening to us. And I wonder if I should play this one first, boy.
Remember, we have 𝗁𝗵𝗲 holding on, right?
Yeah, you have to tell him to log back in.
Oh, I have to send me a new link. Let me log out and come back.
Yeah, send him the new link. This one here. This one here. This one. And all we continue to do is ask God to watch over all the shoulders. That's all we ask God to do. Yeah. So we are back. It's in the village to the 𝗁𝗵𝗃 on 𝗪𝗶𝘁𝗵 95.9 FM. Of course, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's from 7 to 9 p.m. on 𝗪𝗶𝘁𝗵 95.9 FM. And of course, we stream live on Facebook on 𝗪𝗶𝘁 TV, and we also stream live on YouTube as well on 𝗪𝗶𝘁 TV. Right? So there we go. Diana, are you able to get Antonio?
Yes, I gave him the new link to click on.
Okay,
but he said, yeah, she should be hanging out backstage. He wouldn't come on live because he says he didn't get a haircut and doesn't think he looks too presentable to be videoed. So he will remain because of the COVID lockdown.
Another point I wanted to raise, right? And I think these points are very important. In Trinidad and Tobago, right? We compare ourselves with United States over almost everything, right? Everything.
He's gonna come, but he won't. He will remain in the dark. That's what.
No. That's okay. I'm not talking about Antonio. That's okay. I'm just saying that in Trinidad and Tobago, we compare ourselves with United States of America to almost everything. We compare everything. America, right? And I looked at the stimulus check, so to speak, or the stimulus program in Trinidad and Tobago, where the government was going to do $40 to $50 million for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, right? So I did some quick maths, right? I said, let me do some quick maths. So if 500,000 people were to get part of that stimulus check, and each person get $100, that is $50 million. Right? If 250,000 people was to get $200 each, that is $50 million. If 100,000 people was to get $500 each, that's $50 million. If 50,000 people was to get $1,000 each, that's $50,000. And if 25,000 people was to get $2,000 each, that's $50 million. So think about it, right? How are you really going to distribute $50 million in Trinidad and Tobago across the population?
Perhaps the 1% gonna get it, not the across the population.
They shouldn't get any.
No, but I'm just thinking it. We compare ourselves.
You think we gonna start with the street food people?
It should be for the needy, not the greedy.
That's right. But we know who gonna get it.
But Tommy, all right. If there's 50,000 needy people, you know there's more than that in Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Oh yeah.
At least 100,000.
Okay, 100,000, right? You know what they're getting? $500.
$500. Well, they'll be able to buy groceries for 1 week. Maybe.
A week? What? Tommy, where you bring in 𝗁𝗏 to Trinidad?
𝗁𝗏?
You send in 𝗁𝗏 $500?
They'll probably get a bag or two.
All right. You might get two or three hampers.
That's it.
Get 2 or 3 hampers. Because I know people selling hampers for $100, $150, $200, and $250. Right?
I hope in times like these that they dig up some yam and dig up some dasheen and stuff like that, and cut some fig and some moko and some plantain, and we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. We had that. As a matter of fact, Tommy, you just said that, right? Tommy, in Trinidad and Tobago, boy, is oppression for poor people, boy. In these last 6 years, boy, is oppression for children. But let me play this fella first. All you should know this fella. Listen to this fella. All you know, we had to laugh here a little bit. Listen to this fella.
Well, let's stop bad talking Rowley. Rowley's a good man for you. Real good man. Stop bad talking him. Damn man. It's good for all you. You close on the beach. It's good for all you. Good for all you. Good for all you. All you get no grant. Rowley's a very good man. He's a good man. You see, good for all you. You ain't taking no vaccine and you're giving all your vaccine. It's a good thing. He's a good man. Rowley's a damn good man. Hey, it's good all you go dead. Hey, all your ass go dead. It's good for all you. Hey, all you vote him, that's good for all you. Rowley's a good man. All you stop by talking him, man. Eh? He's a good man. That's good for all you. Like when all you bunks all you too, and all the mother say that's good for all you. Don't want to hear all you go feel. Rowley is a good man. He's a damn good man. All you too damn wicked. All you get something, everything all you deserve. Rowley good. Stop by talking our Prime Minister. It's good for all you. He's a good man.
Oh God! Yeah.
All you stay out there. All you go get them. All you go bring COVID and kill all away.
Yeah. All you stay out there. All you want to come back to Trinidad. Stay out there.
All you want all of we to dead in this place.
All you want all of we to dead in. It's only what you want to dead in this place. 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗏, you fighting for exile and stranded citizens. All you stay out there. One thing. Look the next one. Look, as Tommy, as you said that. Listen to this one now.
Dozens of angry young men in the village of Mayo are calling on cement producer Trinidad Cement Limited to allow them to earn a living. The 40-plus youths who have been planting short crops in the area for almost a year say they have suddenly found themselves blocked from going to their crops. On Wednesday, they reached out to the media to highlight their plight.
So many opportunity now where the land is abandoned and due to rubbish being thrown and crime in this situation because the third cars get burned down in this area. So we say, hey, there's opportunity for us to make all the money and feed with family. So that people come and invest in this. Invest the time and invest with all the money we have.
Garo said he is an employee at TCL, but it has been 2 years since he was able to work there. He added that because of the pandemic, the villagers decided to go into farming.
It's young individuals here, who trying to do something positive. Why it is now we're trying to stop us? So if we start to do something negative now, and the security then come and we start to pelt bottle at them and bust head after, you know what I'm going to say? The Mayo villagers, them are not disciplined, and not respect what you youths on them.
He added that the culverts and no trespassing signs were recently placed around their crops. Mr. Figaro also noted that elsewhere in the community, persons were also planting on TCL land, but they were being allowed to continue. When TTT reached out to TCL for their take on the situation, we were told that there was no one on the compound who could take our call.
I want to know what TCL does with this land.
That's a 1% there. See what the 1% doing to the black disenfranchised, disadvantaged black people again, right? You see what's going on, right? Mm-hmm.
TCL is Trinidad Cement Limited. Are they getting cement? Are they extracting cement from this land? What is that about?
Yep.
The land just sitting there. Nobody using it.
Yep.
It's just sitting there. The fellas of them decide that, boy, instead of we go and crack people in the back of their head, they have land sitting down there. We go and plant something and make a little honest living for our families.
But so you block them from going to plant the land. What sense that make? TCL Limited. What sense that make? Then they're gonna become then they go on to do that. The police gonna come quick, and probably shoot or kill one of them and drag the rest of them in jail. What now? What kind of oppression is that? You see what you're talking about, right? See the bourgeois society.
So what I'm trying to figure out is if TCL is gonna build housing for people on that. What are they really doing with that land? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like if the land is they just had some money to invest and they just bought some land. I can't figure it out, but some I'm not too bright sometimes, you know.
Do you see Clemente hanging out backstage?
No, he ain't come in yet. I ain't seen him yet. There ain't nobody backstage yet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, boy. I don't know, boy. All how you take it, boy. You know, Trinidad and Tobago reminds me of when Donald Trump was in office. Almost every day, boy, is something, boy.
But shifting the gears a little bit, is the new Minister of National Security making an adjustment in the one-way fare for those he's giving exemptions to, or are they still paying close to $1,000, $700?
The brother done push him up to help me and him. We want to ask for more.
Why not? Why not? Come on, Gary.
Now I'm just joking. Call 𝗵𝗵𝗏 is the money man, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we had to address 𝗁𝗵𝗏 on that part.
All right, well, then we go light a fire under he too.
Yeah. So let's focus on securing the
Give me. Send Mr. 𝗵𝗏's contact information to me and his email. I will call him too. Yeah.
I mean,
because
we don't want Fisher Hines to be minister of everything.
Let me give me
on the border and to get our people home. Right?
Yeah, give me 𝗵𝗏 information. Give me 𝗵𝗏 information. I will call he too. Because they shouldn't be paying. I shouldn't be paying for nobody else to go home. And if the people have a ticket, they should be honoring the ticket. And if they have to pay a fee, the fee should be minuscule. Minuscule. Cha.
I know.
Yeah.
Caribbean Airlines almost bankrupt. They had to make money.
That's not my business. Them is a 1%. That's not my business.
That's the government. The government own that.
Well, let the government handle that. And they have gas and oil. Let them put gas and oil in the plane and go and pick up the people and bring them. The amount of money I alone spent on Caribbean Airlines before it shut down. Them could afford to go and get a plane and go and pick up a set of people at one location. The amount of times I go home to Trinidad and I do it business class. Please. Although I don't want to hear them. They need to stop strangling their people.
Well, I think Diana, Dad, and listener, coming from me of all people, I think we have to be honest and say that there is 100% improvement in the new Minister of National Security as opposed to Stuart Young.
Yes, indeed.
We have to say that.
Indeed.
Stuart Young was an abysmal failure. And it's funny, eh? It take a fella who I call a failure, right, to replace a fella who was a failure. And the fella who I call a failure is now becoming a success.
Whoa!
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm of the opinion.
Why is he becoming a success? Because
fire.
He did one thing. Well, I know some licks come his way, but what I'm saying to you is he took the opportunity to communicate. And if he continue to communicate and collaborate, he will become a greater success. And we will assist him. We will collaborate to assist him for him to succeed on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago. There is no party politics here. They can call me a UNC as much as they want. I will put on a yellow shirt if they want me to do that. I will get a yellow phantom suit if they want that. But what do you think about it here? I am out here for my people. I don't care about their party politics down there. Right? I don't care about their party politics. We have supported one side or the other because we thought it would be better for the country, but they have turned out to be a disaster. They didn't collaborate with us, right? So the thing about it is, we are here for country and people. You're performing, we give you the support. You're communicating and you collaborate, you get the support. If you want to succeed, that is what you have to do. If you want to work against you, we will work against you. I mean, as simple as that, So the brother is collaborating, and we got to give him hats off for that. And he got all my support.
So folks,
the captain also gets praises.
Who is that?
The captain of the team would get praises also when the team is when there's a winner.
Oh yeah. I mean, your car praised Fitzgerald Hines without a law giving Dr. Rowley the praise for making him Minister of National Security.
Mm-hmm.
I fully agree with that, Tommy. You understand? Because as we said, he always says, a fish doesn't rotten from the tail.
Mm-hmm.
So I fully agree with that.
And the buck stops with the boss.
Absolutely. And you know, Tommy, that's such a valid point. We're gonna get to Antonio Clement in a minute. That's a funny point there, Gary, and Tommy and Diana. You see, if you understand, right, and you are a leader, you're supposed to be able to take criticism if criticism is going to improve whatever organization you are part of.
Absolutely.
So the criticism that we were one of the few people who have been very critical of the government with respect to exile and stranded citizens. Very few. There have been no others. Yes, there's sometimes when the opposition jump on the bandwagon. Yes, that is true. We just lost Antonio again. That is true. But we have been consistent in our attitudes with respect to exile and stranded citizens.
But as far as I'm concerned, the opposition, they fell down on this all the way. They're poor, they're a weak opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I not so much certain members of the party, but the leader herself is what I'm disappointed in. You know, and I had to push too hard to even get her to say something. And up to this day, she wouldn't communicate. And I have a serious problem with that. I cannot support anybody who does not communicate. Fitzgerald Hines decided to communicate, and he will get all the support necessary. I mean, the day he pull a fast one, I mean, we're going to fight. But the thing
But
about it is,
Gary, in the same
yeah,
vein, I want to say something. You see how Fitzgerald Hines is communicating with you? I have to say, I don't know Dave Tancoe. I really don't know him. I really don't. I cannot say that I know the guy. However, Gary, the one or two times I've picked up the phone and called the brother have picked up the phone,
no,
and
the
you
guy,
have to,
Dave Tanko is a very decent guy. He has the best at heart, but he's not the leader. You know, I mean, you know, he has, I mean, he has the best intentions, but there's only so much he can do as an MP. And he
right,
stood up. He stood out. He stood up, regardless who wanted to come on board. He stood up with us. So I mean, you know, credit out to him too. But I'm
right.
referring between Dr. Rowley and Mrs. Visip. So, you know, I mean, is zero tolerance with the behavior?
Well, we have invited Mrs. Kamla Prasad to come on, and she accepted, and then she didn't accept. She said, Rodney Charles, right? And she never follow up. She didn't have the decency to follow up and say, well, Anselm, I couldn't make it because I was ill or something. And that's part of the problems with politicians in Trinidad and Tobago. But let me bring in Antonio Clement here so we can start to talk to him. Antonio, welcome to In the Village with Dark Triplets and Tommy and WZY 95.9 FM.
Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Good night, Antonio. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be back with something this time. You know, it's good. Really good.
So who do you have with you tonight?
Well, I'm supposed to have one of the leaders of the Southeast Portersville Seventh-day Adventist Church, but I don't know if he's in the backstage. Don't know.
Did you send him the new link?
Yeah, I sent him the new link.
Okay, so what we can do, Antonio, is that maybe you can, I don't know if you want to hang up and give him a quick call and tell him that we are waiting on him.
Is he on
Okay, no
Facebook?
problem.
I don't know. Is he on Facebook?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hang up
Well,
and tell him you need to click on it.
Yeah, just hang up
I'll
and
be
tell
back.
him
All right.
you need to click on it. So yes, I want to say this. I have invited several PNM members to come on the program. And None of them have accepted. Okay? I didn't invite, we invited Dave once and he come on. And then we decided last week, they pick up the phone and call him. That's when we call Aisha Wells. Right? And he picked up the phone. You see? So there has to be something that we are doing. All right, I think the gentleman is here. I think he's in the background now. Yes, he's here. He's here. So we just have to get Antonio. Once Antonio come back, we will put him on as well. Yeah. You know, and to me is that with a program like what we are doing, we are in the diaspora. We're not in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't do program like they do in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? We talk truth to power. We believe in country before party. Right? But at least we could give Fitzgerald credit and say he's communicating with Gary about the exile and stranded citizens. At least we could give him credit there. Let's bring this gentleman in right here. Hello. Welcome to In the Village. Here's Antonio. Let's bring Antonio in as well. Okay, Antonio, you are in.
Hi.
And
Good
Gordon.
night again. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And Gordon Utley. Is it Utley?
Yes, yes, sir. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night. Pleasant night.
Good night. Good night.
Welcome to In the Village with the dark triplets. That's Diana and Sam and Gary, and we also have with us Tony. And we welcome you guys out of Trinidad and Tobago. We are here in New Jersey, and we have adopted Antonio Clement as one of us.
Okay.
And he have told us that, you know, he would like to bring you on as one of the leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church there in Port of Spain. Right? So we are delighted to have you.
Yeah.
And let me just say, for transparency's sake, I like to be transparent because my mother-in-law always told me Allah has no memory. My mother-in-law and my wife are all Seventh-day Adventists as well.
So it's my mother.
Oh, your mother, you see?
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. And I'm sure right now my mother-in-law is locked on and listening. And that's where I get that from 32 years ago before I got married. My mother-in-law somehow said to me, Allah has no memory. I don't know what she was trying to tell me that for. You know? but that has stuck with me 33 years later. So mother-in-law, you know, I was using your code. So Antonio, we are so happy to have you. The reason why, I'll let Diana talk because Diana is the one that introduced us to Antonio and how Diana came into being with Antonio.
Well, I saw him on a Facebook group, and his demeanor. Sorry, you can't see the handsome lad he is, but he's concerned about his beautiful hair, you know, the Samson hair. So, and I followed him, and I follow his posts and what he's studying and stuff. So, and the area he's from, you know, they're always going up in them areas, police and assassinating, you know, the young youth. And Dr. David Muhammad has wrote a book, Black Youth at Risk. And I said, look at this young man here, and he ain't at risk. He trying to do something with himself. So I said I need to put him in front of, you know, the world, in front of Trinidad and Tobago, to see, like, you know, here's a black youth, and he ain't at risk, and he doing something good, and he's dressing the way he wants to be addressed. So that is how I came into contact with Mr. Clemente. And I gave him a 5-story plan. I talked about it on the program. And he's either enamored by my Bajan Trini accent or my old face. And he follows me. And he wanted to expound on that 5-story plan. And he told me about the leadership that you, sir, Mr. Utley, wants to do in your community. So I give you the stage now that you can speak about what it is.
So let me just say this. Mr. Utley. I think Antonio said that there is a partnership with the Southeast Port of Spain Seventh-day Adventist Church. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. All right. The partnership is that we would really like to help Antonio and the community of Duncan Street, We have Mango Rose. That's our district that we are working with. Nelson Street, St. Paul Street, John, Beecham Gardens, and the surrounding areas. Those are the areas that our church is designated to work. So when I contacted, in fact, when I met on the streets, we were speaking about, we had a day where we had young people going out in our community and going to Duncan Street, where we were starting a program with the community and getting the children on board to be a part of our Pathfinder Club. That evening, we spent the entire evening giving out hampers and different things and getting to know the children within the community, because we recognize that the community have a lot of young people, but they don't have a vision as to where sometimes they need to go. So what happened is that I spoke with him on the streets, and he was very nicely speaking with me, and then he said he wants to be a part, and he talked to me about some days after he called me and told me about the vision he had and the dream he had for the community. And I listened to him, and then I said, well, we can partner. I said, because he said he was looking for 3 other young people to get on board with him. And I said, well, if you get involved with a church group, what can happen is that you can get different NGOs to get on board. You must have backing in order to do anything that you really want to do for your community. You can't do it alone, but you need support system. And then I started telling him about the program that we had after classes or after homework center down in the Beecham that we ran for 2 years, where we trained, we helped children who couldn't read, who couldn't write. We got some folks from the church who was willing to spend time with these children and help them to learn to read, help them to learn to write, help them to know their names, and give them a little push in the sense of moving them forward. So when he told me about that, I told him, I said, well, what you would need to do is that you probably would need to get a place for, if you want to have a homework center. So you need to get a place, and it need to be funded. Probably you have to get computers. You have to get certain things because the children would be interested. And if you're doing that, then what would happen is that you have to get teachers, and you have to get people who are willing to partner and to be a part of the program. So I told him, I said, well, listen, we ran this program for 2 years, and we have a little insight. So what we do, we come on board with you, but we will work with you. So we will not take over the program. We will work with you because you are a person who is speaking out in the community, and you are the person who is now assisting us in that situation. So what we will do is we would partner. So whatever community projects there is, we would support you in the sense of our church, our young people would get on board with you to help you and to encourage you and to also support you in whatever you want to do. Because we have the same goal, the same dream, because our goal and our dream for the community is to help young people get a holistic life and help them out of a lifestyle of gang-related death, a gang-related culture. Because myself, I was born in the area of 𝗁𝗵𝗃, grew up in 𝗁𝗵𝗃, but I did not become a part of the lifestyle in that hotspot area. Okay, so that as a young man, my father was very instrumental in my life, and I understand what mentoring is, because you need to be mentored to have a vision. And my father, from school, he introduced me into woodwork, and he taught me everything that I learned, and now I am doing that as a life skill for myself, and I'm minding my family with that trade. So that I'm very much interested in what Antonio is pushing, because as a young man, you don't see that much young people getting on board in different things. So I was very much pleased, and I told him I will support him in whatever venture he has. So I told him as well also, the community needs a place for the children to recreate, because they don't, all they have is a small basketball court. So that if we can probably get them on board as we planned for through our Pathfinder Club. This club is a club that we take children different places. We carry them to hikes. We carry them in the country where we camp. They learn to do different skills. They learn to do water safety. I'm also a qualified lifeguard, and I'm teaching young people how to swim, how to teach themselves, how to make sure that they can float in the water, how they can save themselves, or they can also save somebody. So the aspect of what we are doing is that we are trying to help young people to get a different way of living, where they can take care of themselves if they get lost in the forest or anywhere in the forest. They can use a compass, they can navigate, they can find their way out. So it's a different thing to what they are accustomed to. Plus, we have sports where they'll be a part of the sport. We normally have sports like in August, but because of the COVID situation, it is cancelled. Last year it's cancelled. I'm not sure if it will happen this year, but some of those children are great runners. So what we will do to enhance their talents and use them, and also help them to continue on in that track and field experience, where some of them can learn to run more. We can probably get them into a club where they can continue on track and field and different things. So it's not only church, but it's a holistic lifestyle we are trying to push over, or not really push over, but to introduce these young people and to get them away from the gang culture that they grew up in. Okay, so on a whole, our church vision is really to help the young people of that community to have a better life.
You know,
To really have a better life.
Yeah, Mr.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to say this, sir. You know, you make me feel kind of sad, but it's sad in a good way. And here's why, yeah. You said Duncan Street, right? Right?
Yeah.
You know that building right at the corner of Duncan Street, right across from 𝘁𝗵𝗲, the former Workers' Bank building? You see that abandoned building sitting there?
Yeah.
You know that building, right? I made a proposal.
There are two of them.
Right. Now listen to this, I understand the church and politics, but this is me speaking here now. I approached the government that I support for that abandoned building, Workers' Bank building, to turn it into the 𝗪𝗶𝗪𝗏 to Wall Street Development Center. And you see, all of those things that you are talking about there is exactly what I wanted to put in that building there that's been abandoned over 20 years now. Right? All those things that you have just said. And one thing you said, one of the last things you have said, is the track and field part. Because I went to college in this country on a track and field scholarship. That was my way, basically, out of 𝘁𝗵𝗲 𝗩𝗶𝗹𝗹. So I know exactly what the vision is, what Antonio's vision is, what the vision of the church is. And I was so disappointed when I approached the government of the day, a government that I fully support, and gave them a proposal to turn that building into the 𝗪𝗪𝗏 to Wall Street Development Center. And I was going to get the funds in order to renovate that building. So the government didn't have to put out a penny to renovate that building. So it's sad. That's what I'm telling you. It's sad to hear you. So, you know, things happen in mysterious kind of way. To hear you talk about Duncan Street, and you talk about Beetham, and you talk about Mangroves. Those are places that are very, very familiar to me, because I also lived in Snake Valley, 𝗪𝗪𝗏, right? My wife is from 𝗪𝗏𝗏. You see? So, and all my in-laws are from 𝗪𝗏𝗏. You see? So, you know, it's very close to home what you have said there. And we are going to be working with Antonio. And I know that a lot of things that you're talking about, right, we are going to accomplish those things.
Amen. You know, they're taking on the building now.
They are?
This
Really?
one, they're dismantling it right now. Two of them. That's the one on up right on 𝘁𝗵𝗲. That one they're taking it up. That same building right now, they're in the process of taking that building down. Demolishing that building, and that building is a beautiful building. There's another one on the opposite side of the road, and
Yes.
that one is also empty.
Yes, the one on the opposite side of the road I'm talking about. That is the one.
Right.
That was the former workers'
Right, but there's one before that on the side of 𝘁𝗵𝗲 itself.
Right, yeah,
Right,
I know that one.
directly on the 𝘁𝗵𝗲. That big one there.
Yes.
That one right now is being demolished right now, and that's a very strong building.
Wow, I did not know that.
Those buildings, because I told him, I said, if they could have gotten that building, one of those buildings, you find that you could have used those buildings as a means whereby the young people within the community can have a place where they can recreate, where they can find a place where they can feel safe. But again, you see, it has to do with big business.
Top of the hour.
Yeah, Mr. Lee, hold 1 minute, okay? We are going to the top of the hour,
sure.
You know, and then we'll be right back with you. Of course, folks, it's In the Village with the DAC triplets and WZY 95.9 FM. We have with us out of Trinidad and Tobago, we have with us Gordon Utley. He's one of the leaders in the Southeast Port of Spain Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we also have with us Antonio Clement. Antonio Clement is the one who have introduced us to Mr. Gordon Utley. And we basically discussing how was some of the things we can assist them with, you know, with moving the community forward. I guess it's In the Village with the DAC triplets and WZY 95.9 FM. We also have Tommy with us. Short break, we'll be right back.
You are listening to WZY 95.9 FM, Maplewood, New Jersey, broadcasting.
Okay, we are back with you. So, Mr. Utley, you can go ahead.
Well, one thing that we are coming up with right now is that within August time, we are looking to do a book drive to help assist the parents who do not have money to buy like school books and stationaries and different things like that. Our church, we did it last year around the August time, just before school opened. We went on a book drive and we gave out some hampers for most of the children. We gave them notebooks, cupbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, and we made sure that they were very much, they had something at least they could take to school for a while. So we plan to have also a market day whereby our church goes out and we have people who would purchase food stuff, market goods. We would bring it into the community, and we would also just place it on tables, and we would let the community come, and we will give them, they will take one each for family. So if we have cassava, we have sweet potato, we have dasheen, we have yam, we have big fig, we have plantain, potatoes, we have peas, we have rice, we have some pak choy, we have some dasheen bush, we understand the peppers and different things like that. And what we do is that we give some items to each family so that they can go home and they can have a meal with it. And that's what we are planning to do for the month of August. Also, we had a boutique day whereby we partnered with some books and we got good clothes. We make sure we are saying good clothes. We don't ask for anything that a person would not want to wear. But what we ask, we even put out our money and we buy some good clothes and we press them. We make sure that they're ironed and then we hang it up. We get some hangers and we hang them up, and then we have a boutique day whereby the community can come and we have it on the greens. And the community is allowed to come and they take as much as they want without any charge. So these are the plans that we have. The church right now is putting in place, along with Mr. Antonio, to do on sometime in August for the community of Duncan Street. Because that's the community that is closest to our church. So we just go across the street, and we are also planning, we have also planned to get the children. We have already registered some of them to be a part of the Pathfinder Club. The same club that I'm speaking about. So that these young people now, we've gotten their ages, we have gotten their, and their boys, girls, and we have separated them. And now we're going to have a meeting whereby we're going to do a Zoom meeting to get to know them, introduce ourselves to them, and introduce each other. And Anthony will be a part of it also. He's going to get the link so that we can continue now to know them a little better. And that's how we start the ball rolling from the perspective of our church, along with Antonio, because he did speak to some of the leaders also on the day that we were doing this. I called him and he came across, and he spoke with them, and they said, well, I will be the one who will lead with him because I'm more familiar with him. And that is how I am here now, promoting that idea that we are partnering together for the benefit of this generation of young people, nice generation of young children who are within that community, who need a different vision than the one that they see on a daily basis. I listen to any comments.
Well, I tell you, Antonio, we appreciate, as I said, we have adopted Antonio, and most of the things you have said are some of the things that I have aspired to do in Trinidad. I've done in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, I mean, I remember when they had flooding in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, my wife, you know, and I, we had a basically a clothes job, and what we do, we collected, you know, a lot of outstanding used clothes, and we sent back home about 4 large boxes of clothes to Trinidad and Tobago. 4 good, excellent set of clothes. I mean, even new clothes that some people never wore before. You know, we collected and we sent that back to Trinidad and Tobago. So some of the things that you have talked about is some of the things that have been done, and some of the things that we are currently doing now, because part of our focus here at WZY 95.9 FM, you know, we are a radio station in New Jersey, and we broadcast this program on Facebook Live as well, also on YouTube, on WZY TV, right? So what we have done, we have become a sort of a humanitarian radio station, you know, fighting for exile and stranded citizens who have been outside of Trinidad and Tobago for years. And of course, Diana found Antonio, and we told Antonio, you know, what are some of the things that, you know, we can do, you know, in order to sort of assist him in what he's trying to accomplish. And he said, you know, he's been speaking with you and you would like to bring you onto the program. And here you are today, you know. So I don't know if Diana, Tommy, and Gary would like to add anything, but
yeah. Listen, I deeply appreciate what I'm hearing here tonight, and this is something that is very much needed in the community. You know, the homework center. I mean, we need every effort to get our kids away from the gangs. And you know, this is something, like I said, should be supported. I hope that the members of the diaspora can extend themselves to you in Trinidad and Tobago and lend some kind of a financial support also. You know, so I am calling the members of the diaspora within our airwaves here to reach out to you. Maybe you can give a number or something where you can be contacted, because this is the kind of things that we need built in the country. I think the reason we ended up with the problem that we have is because the church fell down. The church really fell down on the outreach, you know, because we need to step up our game and get the kids away from what they ended up in. Is negligence. It's negligence that we have a crime problem that we have like today. Because if we invested in our kids in constructive things, they wouldn't be where they are today. You So I deeply appreciate what you're doing, and we would like to keep in touch and encourage and support you as much as possible.
And I remember Gary saying that early in some programs that the church has to work with the community. It has to be an all-round effort. And I remember you saying the church has to be involved, in order to grab the youths, other entities also, in order to grab the youths before they gets to the issue where the police shooting them. Because we can't have this going on where we're getting all these extrajudicial killings, because you're killing all the black youth, and then black youth are at risk, and what's gonna happen? I don't want to see that. And if you have one Antonio Clemente, we can have a dozen Antonio Clementes, because they are going to be the ones to take the helm, the reins of Trinidad and Tobago. So we have to capture them, hold them, and train them, and let them carry the country forward. Right, Tommy? What do you have to say?
I truly appreciate the fact that there's a mentoring spirit alive with the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because the Seventh-day Adventist Church has always been very progressive, and I think that there's hope. There's a whole bunch of hope for the community now that you have joined the fight with Antonio, and we want to help.
You're coming in soft.
Okay, can you hear me?
Louder. You gotta go.
Okay, what we really need to do is to keep supporting these and encourage the youth to empower themselves, in an entrepreneurial spirit, also. So the mentoring is greatly needed, and it's appreciated. I know it's something that I support and would do whatever I can to help in whatever way that's necessary.
So.
Hey, Antonio, you ain't saying nothing, boy.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much.
Antonio?
yes. This is a real strong desire of mine to actually get this done. Like, I spend day and night and day wondering, I want the future of my community to be good, to be great, to actually get off of the stigma that I be seen on TV. Well, I want to call the news stations, but on the news stations, that Port of Spain is this hellhole, and Port of Spain is only gangs and guns and violence and drugs, and this gang versus this gang, and it brings a bad taste to my tongue. I don't want to get rid of that bad taste. Yeah.
Well, my advice to you, Antonio, right? This is what I'm saying, right? If we could change the attitude of the people, if we could change the way things are being done in the community, and educate the people and organize the people, you could make the money come to you. You see all them tourists coming off the ship? They should be coming to your neighborhood to shop. They should be coming to you. That's where the money comes to you. We have to change the game where the money is coming to you and you're not chasing the money. The tourists who are coming off the ship should be coming to see what you have down there. So this is the vision I'm sharing with you, is that you share this with the people. Say, listen, let's work together. Let's clean up our neighborhood. Let's change the reputation of our neighborhood. If you go to shop in a store and it's looking filthy from the outside, would you go in?
No.
No, you would not.
Nope. So this is just the beginning for the change of that neighborhood, right? So we need go ahead, answer.
No, go ahead now. Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need
I hope that you understand the point I'm making here, is that we have to change the concept, and the way to change the concept is to organize the young people. Start with the preschool age. Don't let the kids go beyond preschool. Catch them at the preschool age. This is what I'm saying. Catch the kids at the preschool age. Organize the sports. Organize the homework help center. The church need to open up its doors and not just be for when the service is on.
Yep. Precisely.
Yeah, you see, you see,
I came from a church. Oh, sorry.
you see, I went to school. I went to Calvary
I
Roman.
came from a church.
Go ahead, 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 Mr. Utley.
Yeah, I came from a church in 𝗁𝗁𝗏. That's 𝗁𝗁𝗏 Seventh Adventist Church, and they had a homework center in that community, and that is still functioning right now, whereby children still go there after school, and they still teach them. They have computers, they have different things, and the children are being helped there. They also find a place where they can recreate and they can spend time when parents is not there, because the reality is that some parents are home but they are not home. So the homework center is a place where they can do their homework, but they can also recreate and congregate and also communicate to each other and build friendship. So one of the things we also have planned is that I have planned is that we are intending to have a old time social, in the sense that they don't know, they might not know about top, they might not know about yo-yo, they might not know about blade, but we used to take concoct and pong it, and you put a nail through it, and that is your blade. Yo-yo, we used to make yo on the late, you put it on the late, and you make out a nice yo-yo, then you put your string, and that's a yo-yo. Then the top also we used to make top. You have a piece of guava and you thing it down, guava piece, a guava wood, and you chip it on a glass, make your own yo-yo, and you put a nail inside it, and do your yo-yo, and you get your string, you make your yo-yo. So,
marbles, pitching marbles.
And even teaching young people how to pitch. Pitch marble.
Yep.
Pitch marble. You understand me? You're bringing back some old-time social where we will be making these things and giving it to them and let them know this is what we grew up with. You know, long time you had that old joking board, the glass joking board, or the joking board out of wood.
What I would like to encourage you guys to do is to create, we have social media today.
Go ahead.
Everybody's on Facebook. Create a page for your street or environment. Market the skills of your people on that page. Create ads. If there's a welder in your page, if what do you call it, a tailor, a seamstress, market it on your page. So you build your community and encourage people, and you assist your community there to bring the revenue into your community. So you create that page as a local media page for your community. Whether it's Duncan Street, you want to name it, or what part of your community, and you start to advertise what's going on in your community. Whether it's the programs for the kids, offer some job training. Get the local tailor and the welder and the carpenters together and say, listen, I would like you to assist us in the community in teaching these skills, some skills. You understand? Share what you know. So you create a program in the evening time, where these guys after work could come down to that area, whether it's your church location or you get a location, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And there's a place where you can gather safely. And you have some covering and share the ideas and the skills and start something there. If you get a little bit of this in each section of the community and you start to revamp the community, don't wait till the government. We will wait till the kingdom come with the government to come do anything here. We have to do it ourselves. We have to get up, pull ourselves up with our own bootstrap. We have to create our own bootstrap. We have to make our own sapat, put it this way. All right? And tie strings and then pull ourselves up with it. So what I'm saying to you is to market your community. Capitalize with the social media and advertise what you're doing and change the concept. You have to grab the kids and don't let them go astray.
We have never been a community who has
very good.
We have never been a community who has had a lot of money to invest. So it's important that when we mentor our children, we teach them collective work and responsibility, collective economics, how to work together. We have to develop the spirit of together, working together, pooling resources. That's very important in the mentoring of our youngsters, so that they become more tolerant of that type of atmosphere and development.
And we could use this station to help advertise what you're doing. We will help you on our end. What we can do on our end.
So, all right, Mr. Clemente.
Okay, no problem.
You're on your way.
Because what you're saying is that develop a skill bank. We're developing a skill bank whereby we're gonna set up a skill bank, right? A skill bank of all the carpenters, welders, tailors, and everybody.
Yeah,
we call it a skill
collect
bank.
information of who's in the
So
community.
what we can do, we can call upon them, right? Yeah, and from then we're gonna train our young people, because a skill is better. Education is nice. I don't tell people no, education is good, but you need to learn a skill. A skill, you are always in demand. You are never out of work with a skill. And that's one thing I know. If you have a skill, you will never go hungry. And that's what our young people need to learn. If some of them cannot learn and they can't do maths and different things, no problem. No problem.
I don't believe,
use your hands.
I think people need a little extra help. If some people might need extra help, they can learn. Sometimes things are
okay, no problem.
Too fast. So we need to provide that support.
Right,
we
okay.
need to provide support in the community.
Yes, no problem. We'll do that.
We need to uplift that.
We're going to do that. Yes, teachers, everybody teachers, because even teachers also we get on board and we ask that. That's where the homework center will come involved. Our church, we will probably start it off at church upstairs, because we have upstairs and downstairs building. We will use the upstairs as a means by which the homework center will be used, and that will be used as a homework center. So evening times, after school, the children can come there and be outfitted, and they can use it, and we can teach other folks who can help them along with their homework. If they don't understand, they will take the time and they will teach them. Okay, what you said? I didn't hear you.
What I said, if one day you could make it where there's like a community training. I mean, you could teach the adults in one evening a night. You know what I'm saying? In certain things, so it doesn't have to be all kids. So you're bringing the whole family together. You have one section one day for the kids, or one timing for the kids, and another timing for the adults. You're teaching, to sew, to bake, any kind of life skill. You can help the adults in the community, and you kind of, you pull the people away from hopelessness. But the best thing I'm suggesting is that you create that page where you start to advertise, because everybody's on Facebook fooling around with social media. Utilize the technology, and capitalizing it. We're not utilizing it. We're just fooling around with it. Most of us are just fooling around with it. But they're on Facebook. So what I'm saying to you is you use that, you create that page, and you start to advertise what you're attempting to do. Let the members of the community know what you're attempting to do. Ask for their support, and then this is something to benefit all of us. This is to benefit all of us. If we get the kids' channel in the right direction, and the country starts to be productive, the productivity is in the benefit of all the people in the country, no matter what part of the country you live in. So people should invest in this. If we can neutralize the crime and get the country, these young men who wasting away in jail, if we had them producing, the country will be in a hell of a better position. We should be exporting things that they can weld and manufacture. You know what I'm saying to you? You have to change the game. I want to see the tourists come from the ship and come up in Laventille and shop. Come up in them areas that's supposed to be the crime spot and shop.
If they can make some little earrings.
Yeah, what happened to the guys who used to make the drag brothers and all these different guys? They all did fancy arts and
they're right by Bessel Street. They have moved them and they put in a little strip there. They're on Bessel Street.
Right, but what I'm saying to you, I mean,
move them and put them on a little stretch.
Let's have
but they're still there.
But we want the community. We want to bring the concept of maintaining a clean environment, so that person comes by, it's attractive. You
Okay.
understand? We want to attract, how you attract customers is to clean up your
Yes.
environment. You make it safe. You know, you make people walking through your neighborhood feel safe. Organize your volunteer community patrol so that people feel safe walking through your community. There's somebody there. There's some kind of support. We have to build this support. What I'm saying to you is to meet people where they are and help uplift them.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I think,
Thank you.
yeah, I think what we, this is a great start. And I mean, I have a lot of ideas too as well, but I rather just listen tonight. And as we go forward, you know, as we have said, we have adopted Antonio here. And, you know, Antonio told us that he wanted you to be on, and it was done. So we are going to continue with the collaboration in order to improve things. And this is just the beginning. And I always say to people, Martin Luther King says, you know, you don't have to see all the flights in the staircase. All you have to see is the first flight. And I consider this just to be the first flight to the staircase, you know, on our way up, you know, all the way up to the top of the building. Antonio, you have anything you want to say?
Yes.
I would like to say that I am really grateful that I have a strong desire to pursue this. And as we were said earlier, it is very rare to see young people like myself actually giving a thought into this, or more than a thought. So I am really grateful for everything that is happening and that will happen in the future. And as they say, aim for the stars.
Yeah, and Antonio, I'm going to send you the PDF for 2 books, The Power of Positive Thinking and The Magic of Thinking Big. Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale and The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. Right, I've read those 2 books, and, you know, I mean, to me, nothing is impossible. I tell people,
that's true.
When people say things are impossible, I say impossible also spells I am possible.
Also, I wanted
Yes,
to make
yes,
him
yes,
that
yes, yes, yes.
he's part of my neighborhood watch group. There's 5,000 Trinidadians on there. Advertise what you're doing. You know, utilize the Facebook to do that.
Yeah, guy, we have a big group there. Big group. Yeah. So Antonio and Mr. Utley, you know Mr. Utley is funny, eh? Most Trinidadians who are living outside of Trinidad and Tobago, most of the time when we grow up, you know, we see a person, we call them Mr. and Mrs. You know, we just grow up with this kind of respect thing from our little kids now. We always call people Mr. and Mrs. It's just, and whenever anybody comes on the program,
yes,
we don't even look at the person age, but we already calling them Mr. and Mrs. But that's something we just grew up with, you know what I mean? It's just kind of respect that we grew up in the community, growing up in 𝘁𝗵𝗲 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹, you know, which way I grew up, 𝘁𝗵𝗲 𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗹, you know, building one apartment to one. You know, there's always always a respect, you know, in the community, and to see, and I went to Calvary Roman Catholic School. That used to be right, if the East Dry River right there, and you used to go up the hill, right, and I think on Easter people used to go and make the way of the cross, you know, up in Calvary Roman. So I know Piccadilly, like Piccadilly Government Secondary School, which was a rivalry at Eastern and Calvary and Piccadilly. And I understand that Piccadilly is now a closed school, you know, and maybe one of these days, you know, when I come back home and get involved in politics, all those schools will be reopened.
Future Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
We have adopted the school, and we have started to clean the area, because the area have grown a lot of bush. That's in the school compound. So some days ago, the church decided we would ask people for the opportunity to clear the bush, clean all the school, all right, and make sure that it is still taken care of.
Great.
Right, so it's a monument, and we don't really want it to run down. And bush is overgrowing it. And one of the things is when it's what a building is heavy and it's not being used, it rottens very quickly. So you have got to make sure that it's kind of kept in a way that it does not deteriorate too fast. That's how it is empty. So we decided we're going to clean it up, all the grass and the whatever is there, we're going to clean it up and paint it up and make it look as a new. That's what the church is doing right now.
Right. So let me say this. Antonio and Mr. Utley, it's a pleasure that you guys give us the time here on WZY 95.9 FM to come in the village and talk. And that's part of what we are about here. You know, we are about, you know, to expanding our wings, you know, to help those less fortunate in Trinidad and Tobago. And that's what we do here. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to communicate with Antonio, communicate with you, you know, and see whatever ways that we can assist in the many things that you are doing in that area, the area that I know very well. As a matter of fact, my brother used to live at the corner of Piccadilly Street, called Piccadilly and Laventille Road. He lived right at the corner there. So I know that place very, very, very well. So Antonio, any closing words?
Okay.
Closing words.
Okay.
Closing words. Never have a doubt in your mind to pursue something. Never. And never, as you said, impossible is literally separated. I am possible. So whatever anybody has in their mind, wants it with good intentions, I believe, and hopefully whoever is watching or will be listening to the pre-recorded can believe as well. That's my closing words.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Antonio. And we're gonna get Mr. Utley back. Mr. Utley, any closing words from you? Any closing words?
My
from
number
you,
is yes, I will. My closing words are, my number is 466-8916. And the words of Winston Churchill: never give up, never back down, never back down. Go forward.
Yes, your song just like a weird song here in the village, boy. we the only program that have quote left, right, and center. You know? These the only program when you come into the village, there's all kind of quote you're getting. You're getting quote after quote after quote. So, Mr. Utley and Antonio, we want to thank you guys so very kindly for joining us. And we're going to pick up this battle, of course. We're going to continue with this kind of discussion that we have here. We thank you guys so much for joining us. Take care now.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care. All right. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah, guys, you know, and that's what it is about, yeah. You know, having these people and trying to inspire them for a better tomorrow. You know, and to me, when you have this type of program, is the best type of program. When we are fighting for exile and stranded citizens, is the best type of program. You see, when you have a young kid like Antonio, you know, who we can help, inspire, and you could see the young man is willing to learn. You could already see, you know, that, you know, he has that, you know, he's like a sponge then. You know, and he wants to learn. And that is the problem that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. If we could get people, there are these kids who are willing to learn, but they don't have the mentors. Right? They need these people who can.
The leadership is lacking very much. And I mean, the church, I think the church really fell down with us here, you know. Because so many churches up in the community over there where those kids are shooting up the place. There's a lot of churches out there. I think the church fell down, to tell you the truth. And the church should be open to the community, not just for services. So they fail. You know, the leaders failed there. And that is why we have the problem here. So we have to revitalize this thing. Like, you know, when we was growing up in Trinidad, there was crusades. You know, this evangelism and all these crusades and the pitching tent here and there. There has to be some kind of crusade taking place, you know, in the country where we have to revitalize, we have to rejuvenate things, you know, and like I want to encourage a young man to utilize the page that he's on as a member of the neighborhood watch, where he has for access for 5,000 people there. We have the radio station here. We're live on Facebook. We could give them all the support with advertisement on this end, where the members of the diaspora can see what they're doing and help fund the activity. You know,
Hey, but Gary boy, we on YouTube now too, you know, WZYE TV boy.
Oh, really? Nice, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, I know we're trying to wrap up, but the thing about it, answer me. This is very critical, as I see. This is something I strongly believe in. We could spin this thing around with the right leadership, and we have people. We let people that this conveniently use our people, you know, to get into office and don't do anything. You know, we gotta be accessible to our people. We gotta be on the ground with our people. These are the kind of leaders we need. We don't know people. We don't need leaders who rolling up their car glass and a suit and tie and don't even look at we. You understand? We need people fully engaged. Like, we have to really go down there, brother. You know, we have to really get down on the ground there, because I don't.
You know, Gary. You know, Gary. It's interesting that you say that, Gary, because you know when that guy started to talk about Duncan Street, boy, I said, but wait, boy. Gary, Tommy and Diana, the building right at the corner there, you mean them gonna break down that building, boy?
Maybe they were there. Maybe they were listening to you.
Somebody want the spot. Somebody want
the spot. That's what I'm saying. Them.
And I bet you is one of the 1%.
But listen to me, Diana, I would, if I was you, I'd stop blaming the 1%. I blame the 99% for not united. That is my thing. Okay.
But the 1%, yeah, no, the 1% don't have the wherewithal to break down the building and put nothing in. The 1%.
Need with our people. We need unity with our people.
The 1% have the wherewithal to go and break it down and put what they want there.
Yeah, Diana. The 1% went to India and Africa and conquer the whole country there with so much strong men. 1% did that. Okay.
Yeah.
When are we going to wake up?
I have to agree with. I have to agree with Gary.
99%.
Yeah. Well, I'm poking at the 1% sarcastically. I'm poking at the 99% sarcastically. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, we have to unite the 99%. We have to wake up. We have to educate the 99%. Okay. There's more of us than them. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So we could spin this around, but we got to work together. We got to work together, people. Come on, wake up.
That's right.
The grassroots have more power than they would even imagine.
So I don't blame my enemy for oppressing me. I blame me for not retaliating. We have to respond. You know.
So
you know.
You know, I be, you see what Gary saying makes sense, and here's what Gary saying makes sense, because it's the same thing with politics in Trinidad. The 99% allow themselves to be ruled by the 1%. When it's the 99% who should be ruling the 1%.
Precisely.
And I'm going to close on this one. I'm going to close on this one. The Syrians in Trinidad and Tobago could never elect a government in Trinidad and Tobago by going to the polls. The Chinese in Trinidad and Tobago could never elect a government in Trinidad and Tobago by going to the polls. Right? Due to the separation in Trinidad and Tobago, there's only two sets of people can elect a government in Trinidad and Tobago. The blacks and the Indians. Okay? However, when all of us go to vote and we elect the government, we allow the government to allow the 1% to rule us. And we sit there and we don't say anything. Right? We say all kind of names, we call all kind of names, and we don't hold our government accountable to us for voting them into power. And the government said, don't worry, man. Them fellas go vote for we. 3 months for the election, we go up there, we go pave some road for them. We go get them some box drain. We go get them some hamper. We go get them a red or yellow t-shirt. And we go have them fighting against each other. Right? And when we get elected, The father is a PNM, the mother is a UNC. So don't matter who gets elected, them family in business anyway. Right? And we now fighting against each other. Right? When we just vote for one party and them lose, we get nothing. And them other people laughing at me, what them? Look them do this people. Right? So when the 99% wakes up and realize that they are in power and they should hold the government accountable, right? We go see a different Trinidad and Tobago. But folks, it's always a pleasure. It's in the village with the Dark Triplets and WZY 95.9 FM. Of course, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and we say from 7 to 9.
Typical Trinity. Typical Trinity. We're going in. We're going this now. We're going home this time.
That's what we say. We go in. We say, well, we go from 7 to 9 now.
Well, we reach at the bridge and we still talking.
Yeah, but we reach at the bridge and we still talking. So,
nice debate, you know, keep all at the time though. Okay.
Yeah.
So folks, again, it's always a pleasure, you know, to be in the village with the Dark Triplets on WZY 95.9 FM. And I want to read this quote again, because I think this quote, all right, I'm not going to read that one tonight, right? But there's a quote that says, many times we think someone is ranting, but they are actually speaking with conviction, and everyone have just forgotten the sound of real passion. We are afraid of absolutes and a strong gut, and digging in your heels that we dismiss the powerful voice of a lonely fighter. Listen for quiet strength, for humble confidence. It's not often someone will stand up for what is right, what is true, what is fair. More often, we are afraid to admit. From where I sit, this is it, the clock on the wall. So that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, and for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. Tommy?
You know, before I say my quote, I wanted to say that the grassroots really have the power, and they don't want to believe it. In Trinidad and Tobago, there's a lot of tribal politics. I say tribal politics because I consider we're the same people. People from Indian descent and the people from Afro descent, we are all the same people. And once we can wake up and smell the coffee, we're on our way. But my quote is from Mae Jameson. It says, never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. And that we got to take seriously. Also, I want to say, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is mere tenacity. And that's by Amelia Earhart. I appreciate you giving me the time to answer them today. And I appreciate the companionship of you, Gary, and our sister, Diana. I thank you, and I'll talk to you guys again soon on this weekend.
Thank you. Gary?
Yeah, I just want to say good night, TNT family. I really appreciate the guests that came on board. I hope we can continue to build the relationship. The revolution is on, and we just have to unite. I also want to say Miss Diana looking nice. Nobody told her how she looking nice tonight. Anyway, this is your Trinity Phantom. 201-932-6161. If you need help, you need help with an exemption, you're struggling out here as a stranded citizen, reach out to us. If you're in Trinidad and you want to tell us what's happening in your neck of the woods, feel free to join us also. We like to encourage those who back home to tell their story. So feel free to make contact with us, and something you want to share that's what's going on in the country. I do want to strongly encourage that. We need some volunteer reporters down there in TNT. With that, I will say good night.
Go ahead, Diana.
Okay. I want to end tonight by saying thank you, Mr. Clemente and Mr. Otley, for joining us. Your presence was well appreciated, and your vision, will come to fruition. I want to say this is a quote by Jim Rohn, and I'll give you one by Robert Louis Stevenson. The first one by Jim Rohn. The challenge of leadership is to be strong but not rude, be kind but not weak, be bold but be thoughtful but not lazy, be humble but not timid, be proud but not arrogant. The next quote is by Robert Louis Stevenson, one of my favorite authors. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. Leadership in times of crisis, and that is what Trinidad and Tobago is facing now. Perhaps the most essential element of crisis leadership is clear and trustworthy communication. This COVID-19 pandemic has placed extraordinary demands on governments. The humanitarian toll COVID has taken has created fear. Out of this fear, there's a lot of propaganda regarding the origin of the vaccine, the component of the vaccine, resulting in fear of the vaccine. We also see fear used as a divisive tool to divide the resident citizens against those who found themselves stranded as a result of the border closure. Trustworthy communication was not the lingo during the stranded national crisis. Instead, we heard that they would be bringing back COVID to infect the population. And most recently, they were referred to as an inconvenience and little people. This pandemic presented high stress and chaotic conditions, and governments were forced to close businesses instead of using harsh rhetorics like lockdowns. But instead of using harsh rhetoric like lockdown, perhaps you can use words like temporary pause, and you may find the population may be more conducive to adhere to staying indoors and to the protocols you put in place, and that might help curb the spread of the COVID. We at WZYE 95.9 FM, we are paying attention to what is being said by the leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, and we will call you out when necessary. This is your resident poet, Diana Benskin, saying, Auf Wiedersehen, until we meet again. Good night.
And of course, good night. We leave you with this song.
Now that she needs me, I will work hard. She needs me